Here we have a universal propeller protractor. It's used to get degrees of an angle, and it's not only used for propeller blade angle. You can use it for a multitude of things. It has 3 flat sides. Measurements can be taken on all 3 of them, the 2 sides being the vertical plane and the bottom being a horizontal plane. So a couple of components to be aware of while you're operating and reading this is the outer scale, which is the ring, and it rotates by loosening that bottom right knob, and you can rotate it using the top right knob. And that rotates that upper scale, the vernier scale, and it's important that it stays in that location on the curved part of the protractor. The vernier scale is measured in tenths, and now we have our inner scale, which can be rotated by loosening that pin on the right and twisting the knob on the left, and you can see it moves that bubble in there. We have our vertical bubble level, which is used if you're measuring vertically, so on either side. You want to make sure that the bubble gets in between the lines on the bottom level there. So once it's in the lines, you're good to go. You'll be getting an accurate measurement. And we also have our horizontal bubble level, which can be swiveled with that knob on the left. And of course, you want to do the same thing here. Match up the bubble in between the 2 lines as best as you can to get an accurate reading. So once you have that all set, you want to match up the zeros from the top scale and the bottom scale by rotating the top scale, the outer scale. And you can get that all set once you get those matched up. You can lock the outer ring to keep our neutral position, and you can see the zeros are matched up at that point, and that's our neutral plane. Now we can bring it over to our flight control surface. So we always place our protractor perpendicular to the hinge line or parallel to a rivet line. If you can't see the rivet line, just make sure you're perpendicular to the hinge line where the surface attaches to the aircraft. So we're getting it vertically leveled right now. It's not essential with the measurement we're taking, but it's good practice. So you get the bubble in the center. And now we have our horizontal bubble level, which can be actuated by that knob on the left. You just want to place the bubble into the center between the 2 lines, and boom, it's simple as matching the bubbles into the lines. That's our angle. So now we're going to lock it out with that tiny knob on the right hand side so we don't lose our angle. Alright, so now it's time to read our angle. So we read from our center 0 to our outer 0, in this case from right to left. We're going to be using our left-hand vernier scale, measured in tenths, because we end up on the left when reading from right to left. So we're going to count from our center 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until it matches up with the outer 0. So that's 5 degrees right there. But you can see it goes a little bit past the 0, so we know we have a fraction. In order to read that, we go from our vernier scale from 0 until the lines match up best. In this case, it's 2, so that's 5 2/10 or 5.2 degrees. All right, this one we're reading from left to right, still inner 0 to outer 0, but we're going to use our right-hand vernier scale because we end up on the right. So we are trying to find where the 0 matches up to our inner scale, which it looks to be around 22 and a little bit more So it's 22 degrees, but there's going to be a fraction. So now we're looking at our vernier scale on the outside to check which lines match up best between inner and outer. And right here it looks like at 6/10 it matches up perfectly. So it's 22 and 6/10 or 22.6 degrees. All right, last example here, small degree, still reading from inner to outer 0, left to right in this case. So if we zoom in, we can see that our outer 0 passes the 1 degree mark on our inner scale. So we know that it's 1 degree, but it's also, unfortunately, a fraction. So we're going to check to see where it matches up best, in this case at 2/10 on our right-hand vernier scale. So we get a fraction of 1 2/10 or 1.2 degrees. And that's how you read a propeller protractor. Try some on your own.